Okay, you can start now.
Okay, sir. So, good morning, dear students, Miss Manjuri and Nikita. I hope you are fine and you are spending a valuable time to learn on weekends. I appreciate you for that. So, let us discuss and learn today on uh, a few areas on which you are doing your course. All right. So, IGNO for selecting IGNO itself is a uh, wise way you have selected it because is one of the biggest national open university in the world itself. So first open university which is accredited by NAC. So you must be happy of yourself that you have selected a institute where the distance education or open education is always recognized and valued. There is no doubt on that. So this diaspora in the last classes we discussed a few areas on kind of the term what is diaspora and how the history in diaspora and the Asian African continent how it has evolved and in Europe too. So the meaning of diaspora from how it is evolved and all those things we have discussed in the last class. So now today we are going to discuss about uh, diaspora influence on policy making, right? So the basic understanding is that the diaspora is a community. That's what in the last class I just elaborately addressed the students. So it is not just people coming together. It is a community, means a we feeling. Diaspora is a group of people of same origin in or linguistic or religious based or whatsoever living abroad, living in foreign country, and closely associated uh, to support the host country as well as the home country. This is a basic understanding of the term diaspora. So just migrating one place to another, it is not a diaspora. So I just go abroad and working there for a long period of time. It is not considered as the term diaspora as itself, right? So, so in this chapter, what is diaspora in policy making? Uh, the main objectives that uh, which is all about is uh, we try to understand the power of soft power of the diaspora, right? How the diaspora or the community influence the foreign policy or the government which they are associated with in their host country as well as home country, right? As well as how the people are discuss policies for engaging the diaspora. So how the policy in other way engage the diaspora. That is also very important, right? Vice versa. How people influence the policies as well as how the policies influence the diaspora community. Because any country as host country, sorry, home country, needs the remittance from their diaspora community, returns, investments, contribution, right? So how they are making the policy. And as a host country, they need to have a policy to pull people across the globe to come. Right? So they should not feel terms of marginalized. They should not feel they are neglected. They should not feel they are paid less. So all those things, it is very important for the host countries to look into it. All right. So we are going to as well as examine the diaspora's role in making the foreign policies. Right. So very interesting as well as uh, very base for us to understand and to see how the diaspora is evolving and influencing the foreign policies, right? So, what is soft power? The important term. What is the soft power is all about, right? So, uh, the non-coercive influence through culture, values, and foreign policies. Very simple, right? So, how in a non-coercive way? That means without any noise, without any kind of big deal, big kind of drama, something like where we see in politics across India sometimes, right? So without kind of going to kind of big fight
Arjun
or something like that,
Gogi,
how we are,
हाँ कौन बहु कौन कंसी
sir, you are speaking, your voice is on
हाँ
here.
बहुत तेज है कुछ दी समुद्री को
Sanda sir,
आरो समुद्री चाल पड़ता ना
so let us hold for
किए
some time.
जोर चलती कम बेचू किए जोर चलती
Sanda sir, hello.
बढ़िया है ना ମୁଁ ହଁ ସକାଳୁ ଟିକେ କଫି ଟିକେ ଗ୍ରହଣ କରା ହେଇଥିଲା ଆଜି କଫି ପିଇଲି ମାଛ
Please let us hold.
ଆଉ ସକାଳୁ ବି କଫି କରିଥିଲି ଆଜି ସମୁଦି ନମସ୍କାର ନମସ୍କାର ସମୁଦି
Okay, all right. So, what is the hello, sir? Please mute yourself in the yeah, that noise is coming. All right. Okay. So here, soft power diaspora, it is a non-coercive influence through culture, values, and foreign policies. Where here you don't have much noise or much sound, uh, but rather through your diaspora power that you are dealing with the people over there. And all right. So, what is, for example, India's diaspora role in promoting India's cultural identity? So you can find sometimes where our people are creating the Indian culture identity, right? Building a temple or celebrating Diwali in US, right? Or celebrating Onam in you now you see the next week Wednesday the people of Kerala are celebrating Onam. You can read news or you can see in the television or any kind of social media the Onam being celebrated in some part of the country, part of the world where uh, the diaspora of the state of Kerala are high, right? Even you can see in the Islam, Saudi Arabia, uh, Kuwait, all those places where you can find people celebrating uh, people celebrating the Onam, right? So this is an example of soft power and diaspora, and building a temple or influencing the policies and all those things, right? So tools of soft power. What is a tool? What is the tools of soft power? Right? Uh, Culture, education, and economics. Very, very important aspects when we look into the tools of soft power, right? So, when you talk about culture, when you talk about education, uh, how we im- import or export our culture to other nations means that not making them to adopt our culture, but in terms of giving our rights to practice our culture, to take our education, right? You find in countries like East Asian countries, where there are schools where they teach Hindi, they teach Tamil, they teach Malayalam, right? Because they want to retain the children, they retain the family, want to retain the workforce of the people across the globe. So they teach those languages because they won't go back to their country because they need the workforce over there, right? Because its economy is very important. And diaspora is an emotional, political, and economic investment. That has to be the main uh, reason why uh, they want to uh, make them to influence the policies, make them to influence the government. The term I am using, influencing, doesn't mean that it is a wrong way of doing it. It is not like bribing or something like that. It is a propaganda or it is an influencing. I use the term influence because they try to influence through the economic investment or the economic production that they are giving to the nation where they are living, the host countries. So that makes them to be the soft power. On the other hand, the remittance perspectives of the Indian nationals living other countries. So government of India also brings lot of programs, policies to make uh, the people to have a quality of life, good quality of life in their host countries, right? So, what is a global diaspora trends, right? So, it is increasing engagement in host countries, socio-economic and political activities, right? So, significant remittance and investment to home countries. So, remittance is a very, very important aspect when we uh, deal with diaspora uh, uh, people of diaspora and all those things, right? Just right? So increasing engagement in host countries, socio-economic political activities, so that the host countries want to retain them, and significant remittance and investment to home countries also is very, very important aspect to uh, for the aspect of uh, soft power, right? So, what is the Indian diaspora engagement policies? So, what the government of India brings as an Indian diaspora engagement policies is Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs we have, and we have OCI card, and we have a Parvasi Bharatiya Divas to recognize diaspora contribution, right? Uh, so let us learn all those things in upcoming classes of what is there, what they are doing, and also what. Diaspora in foreign policy acts as a lobbying force in host countries. Very, very important, and the term lobbying. Okay. So how we lobby, that is very, very important. We use this term lobbying when external force lobbying the government for some kind of kind of what they want to have some secured policy or want to lobby the government to get more loans or whatsoever. But here, act as a lobbying force in host countries, what they do. And because of the number of people, I give an example because in US we have a large number of engineers from India, right? Uh, so they start lobbying the host countries, means they lobby the government of US the policies which in turn benefit the people of India, right? So the first and foremost, the lobbying is the getting the visa, right? Or lobbying in terms of uh, the amount of the salary or the benefit they get from the government when they once they land in US, and in enhancing the fringe benefits to the people who are in India from India. So they start lobbying in various aspects which will benefit directly the Indian nationals or indirectly the Indian nationals. That is called a lobbying force. Okay. So diaspora in foreign policy acts as a lobbying force in host countries. Means that since their contribution is high on their host countries, they can do that. Right? And and examples of Indian American support of US India agreements, right? We have a lot of US India agreements that speaks the volume of the contribution of the uh, Indian diaspora in US to have a strengthen a good liaison between India and US. Definitely, there is a kind of decline is happening now. A lot of tariffs and all those things of various reasons by the government of US. Even if you have seen 2 weeks back, uh, Honorable President Donald Trump has levied 100% tariff on India uh, since we are importing huge oil from Russia, right? So they are the government is has done and it is in the court of in the US whether it can be done or not by the president itself. So that is the thing is going on right now. But how we are lobbying into it, that is the matter. Contribution to development. What kind of soft power will do to contribute to the development of the nations? Just a minute. Yeah, please ask Manjari. Do you have any question?
Sir, could you slide show the PPT? The writing is very small.
You're not able to see that
Yes, sir.
now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I will share all the PPTs if it is uh, through Santa sir to your WhatsApp group. So, so contribution to the so contribution to development. What how they develop. Right? So they promote trade, investment, and entrepreneurship through soft power. Right? So what happens normally? I was in Zambia. I was one of the African countries where I was teaching 2 years. A very good country. As soon as we go there, We thought of trading. Okay, that automatically it happens. Even though I was in teaching, I thought of trading something from India to Zambia, right? Especially hair, right? This human artificial hair or human hair we can export to Africa. It is a huge amount we can earn. So I thought of it. Then I was trying after I come to India, and I was just doing some kind of groundwork, and I was told that you can trade anything to Africa, and they have listed certain items which are supposed to get a license, and it has to be approved by the government of India. That is hair, right? Because it has to be original and all those things. Their quality has to be filtered. They have to check and all those things, right? So the reason behind I'm telling this because uh, automatically we tend to trade. We tend to we do some business, international business or something like that. That promotes the uh, trade, right? So the soft power helps us Indian nationals being a diaspora in some other countries, first of all, involving in trade, start a business, right? Because you know many people in the home countries, and you know the host countries' expectations, so you try to merge, right? So trade is a very important development that happens out of soft power, right? And you have investments and you have entrepreneurship. So you start investing. Probably you may start investing in land. First of all, you buy land, you do something. At a larger level, you do some business, you do invest in certain business, or you do invest in education, right? Lot of investment. You do invest in health. So investment happens a lot, right? Because of this remittance and all those things, and entrepreneurship, right? You know, people start accumulating the huge amount of their earning. They start business in the home countries through their relatives, or they come back after 5 to 6 years and they start their business, right? And facilitate skill trainer and technology collaboration. Very important aspect of uh, the development out which comes out of the soft power. That is skill trainer, skill transfer. Sorry, you transfer your skill. Very important aspect is the social learning, right? Skill transfer automatically happens. So how a skill transfer happens when a person drives a car, another person is sitting nearby him. So he observes how if the person doesn't know how to drive a car, yeah, he or she observes the person one who drives and learns how he changes the gear or automatic or whatever, how he gives accelerator and everything. Learns by observing. The same way, the skill transfer happens when uh, when he converse with his or her people in homeland and tells what are the expectations the host countries is required, right? And what he has to do in due course of time, 2 or 3 years, to improve himself or herself to match towards the particular job that is there in the other country. So skill transfer happens in a minute level like that. At the maximum level, you do a technology collaboration, right? You collaborate with them and you be the bridge between the host and home countries. So, or you influence the government to have some collaboration with the home country. You know very well that being in a in education field or and a learner, there are a lot of fund that is happening between two countries. Fund, Japan fund for social studies, or Canada funding for social studies, or India funding for so a lot more. What is it, how it happens? It is because of the diaspora, because of Indian nationals living over there, because of the technology collaboration, right? Why two countries, other countries come to India to build their defense, right? They come and get train over here and build their defense. Sometimes you read in newspaper or news channels or any medium that you find people from other countries, army are coming and getting trained, and Indians are going there. Okay, collaborative learning, right? All those happenings frequently because of this foreign policy, right? Because of Indians move towards some other countries. Right? So challenges in diaspora engagement. What is the challenge? First is the building trust among stakeholders, right? That is very important aspect when we are dealing with diaspora uh, formation, building trust among stakeholders, right? And managing dual citizenship and legal framework, very uh, tough, and overcoming political and cultural barriers, right? So these are the very three dimensions where in which the diaspora engagement itself is facing these challenges. First one is building trust among the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? What do you mean by stakeholder? Right? In an educational field, when you say stakeholder, right? The stakeholders are the students, parents of the students, faculties, staff, right? Housekeeping people of the institute, security, if there is hostel wardens, right? All are stakeholders who are directly or indirectly related to the institutions or any banking sector customer, right? Bank employees. If the bank itself gets a loan from some other government agencies, government, RBI, right? So these are the stakeholder. The term stakeholder means who are all connected towards it. So building trust among stakeholders is very much difficult or challenges in diaspora engagement. So as a diaspora, you have to, as a people of together, how you are going to build a trust. Okay, how you are going to build a trust that you are you want to invest or you want to do something in a host country itself, right? Second is managing a dual citizenship and legal framework. Very tough because it's highly government related, policy related, right? Needs lot of uh, uh, things need to go. Normally, it is based on the foreign policies, but how the able to manage, how you are going to build, all matters a lot, right? And overcoming political and cultural barriers. Then another uh, area which need to be addressed, the political and cultural barriers. For example, Sri Lanka and India, right? Especially the Tamils over there, right? It is overcoming political and cultural barriers. Very important aspect, right? Even though it is very near to our country, right? India and Bangladesh, India and Pakistan. Now even India and the US overcoming political and cultural barriers. How difficult it is for people to move US, right? Even sometimes in Canada, right? 2 years back there was a riot over there, right? So these are the things which is happening. Diaspora engagement is struggling to get a better place to land and survive. Role of diaspora uh, in host and home countries, right? So host countries strengthens cultural ties and political influence. First one. So, and what do you have to do in the host countries? You have to strengthen the cultural ties and political influence. How you are going to influence the government? In what way? What is the strategy? Right? So contributes to socio-economic growth. Right? That is very, very important uh, when we are talking about uh, contribution of the diaspora to the host country. It contributes. So we understand that economic growth. Okay, it's an economic growth is fine. So you work and the country earns out of your contribution. What is a socio-economic growth, right? So that's very important term. So when you say socio-economic growth, it is it is also building the trust. It is also building the connect. It is also building the support system, which is not money oriented always. So socio-economic growth, it is very important. So what do you do in the home countries? Drive innovation and investment. So you start investing, you start developing the entrepreneurship, or you start a small business and you invest probably on certain agriculture, whatsoever, right? So advocates for national interest abroad, right? So how we are going to advocate for a national interest abroad? So what you are going to do for the interest of the country by being abroad, right? So that's also very important aspect of role of diaspora in host and home countries. So the key impacts of diaspora influence, right? So first one is promotes international trade and cultural exchange, right? And strengthens bilateral relationship through advocacy and lobbying, and mitigates brain drain via knowledge and technology transfer, right? So first one promotes the impacts of diaspora influence is that promotes international trade and cultural exchange, right? Uh, so we have discussed already. So we develop the trade. We tend to invest on that uh, or collaboratively, right? So diaspora will collaboratively on international trade. Probably we can take in another aspects also. If the number of people live abroad is quite high, for example, Indians in Eastern country, Eastern Asia, uh, automatically people start selling the Indian product to uh, Eastern. For example, in Malaysia, there is a separate place called Mini Tamil Nadu. Right? This it is because a lot of Tamil people live over there. Automatically, what you do, the investors or the people working in trade start selling the product to Malaysia because it's a huge need is required for Indian clothing, Indian cloths, uh, Indian food items, and all those things. So automatically it improves. The trade starts, right? So the key impacts of diaspora influence. So it is a cultural exchange, right? So people exchange the culture. Best example is that people in US celebrating uh, Diwali, Pongal, Onam, and all sort of Holi, and all sort of festivals which we celebrate over there, and strengthens the bilateral relationship through advocacy and lobbying. Right? So I explained already how people start influencing the government and uh, making the policy to be more favoring to the host countries. As I have said, Indo-US agreement that is out of the diaspora influence, and we will mitigate the brain drain, right, via knowledge and technology transfer. Means that don't simply waste the brain. Brain drain means taking the highly knowledgeable people to abroad. So we Indians lack people who have rich brain. So due to that, there is a knowledge and technology transfer. Through knowledge and technology transfer, how the brain drain can be mitigated. So these are the various impacts of diaspora formation. So this is the key impacts of diaspora influence. So we are moving to the comparative uh, perspectives of citizenship practices. So I hold it here for 2 minutes. Any questions you can ask?